Dear students, in this video, I'm going to discuss regarding the module 2, that is Foundation in Masonry, in that the second session. So in the second session, we are going to discuss on the different types of soil investigation and what is the purpose and necessity of the soil investigation and what are the different types of soil exploration and how to choose the proper method for the particular type of the soil condition or particular type of the project. So let us start with the site investigation or different methods of the site investigation. Site investigation or subsurface exploration is done in order to obtain the information about soil condition at the site of proposed construction. This is very important for a big engineering projects based on which the design and construction techniques are planned. So this is the very initial step for each and every project, big project especially. Uh, Based on this, the foundation type of foundation is decided. Based on this, the type of the structure is also sometime decided or planned or altered actually, because the capacity or SBC of the or safe bearing capacity of the soil is most important. Okay, so major there are three important types of or three stages of soil investigation or site investigation. One is reconnaissance survey, second is preliminary investigation, third is a detailed investigation. So in reconnaissance survey, the site reconnaissance is the first stage of site investigation. So in this stage, visual inspection of the site is done and information about the topographical and geological features of the site is collected. It's a very beginning step. You will go and visit the site and check for what are the existing condition of the soil. So the general observations made in the site reconnaissance are as follows. So one is the presence of drainage ditches and dumping yards, etc. Location of groundwater table by observing a well in that site if it is there. Next is presence of springs, swamps, etc. Next, a high flood level marks on the bridges, high-rise buildings, etc. are observed, so which are close to the site. Next is the presence of vegetation and nature of the soil. This is only by visual inspection. So these are all the points should be observed in this reconnaissance survey. Next is past records of landslides, floods, shrinkage cracks, etc. of that region. Study of the aerial photographs of the site, blueprints of present buildings, geological maps, etc. And the next is observation of deep cuts to know about the stratification of soils. That is, sometime it is there nearby site. You can go through it. So by that you will understand the type of soil when you go deep into that particular site. So observation of settlement cracks of existing structures, that is nearby. So what type of the settlement was there? What is the nature of the settlement and all? So this all includes the reconnaissance survey. The second type is preliminary investigation. The preliminary site exploration is carried out for all small projects, light structures, highways, airfields, etc. The main objective of the preliminary exploration is to obtain an approximate picture of the subsoil conditions at lowest cost. So it is also called a general site exploration. The next method of site investigation, little bit detail. The soil sample is collected from the experimental borings and shallow test pits, and simple laboratory tests such as moisture content test, density, unconfined compressive strength test, etc. are conducted. So that is in this stage, the second stage. Simple field tests such as penetration methods, sounding methods, geophysical methods are performed to get the relative density of the soil, strength properties, etc. So the data collected above soil should be sufficient enough to design and build light structures. And these are the following informations should be obtained through preliminary site exploration. Approximate values of soil compressive strength, that is done in laboratory. Position of the groundwater table using some relevant methods. Depth and extent of the soil strata, different stratas of the soil. Soil composition, depth of hard stratum from the ground level. Engineering properties of the soil, that is for a disturbed sample. So there are two different methods, disturbed and undisturbed sample. So you'll collect the sample of the soil from that particular site and you will going to study or investigate the engineering properties of the soil. So in the third stage, it is called a detailed site exploration. So detailed site exploration is preferred for complex projects, major engineering works, heavy structures like dams, bridges, high-rise buildings, etc. So this is very important and it takes a little bit more time to do or to study the particular site. The huge amount of capital is required for a detailed site exploration. Hence, it is not recommended for minor engineering works. So you cannot see this, or uh, people or engineer may not prefer this type of method for a small construction or small projects, because it needs a lot of money and you need special machineries to conduct this. Okay. So where the budget is limited, for such type of works, data collected through preliminary site exploration is enough. So in this stage, numerous field tests such as in situ vein shear test, plate load test, etc., and laboratory tests such as permeability test, compressive strength test, and undistracted soil, that is undisturbed soil samples are conducted to get the exact value of the soil properties, because based on that the type of the foundation is decided, because it involves a huge money. So that's why it's very important stage or very important type of the site investigation. So these three are the different types of the site investigation. Next, see what is the purpose of this site exploration. Why it is done? To fix the SBC of the soil. So SBC means in short, safe bearing capacity. SBC of the soil. So to select the economical and safe type of the foundation. Next, to fix the depth to which the foundation must be taken into the ground, to predict the likely settlements of soil, and certain allowances are made in designing the foundation. And the last is to select the suitable construction technique. So these are the different purpose of the site exploration. The following are the different methods of soil exploration. These are the different site methods which is conducted in site using different types of machineries, huge machineries, to find out the different values or different engineering property of the soil, or sometime to collect the sample itself. Okay. The number one is a test pits, the most simplest form it is. And next, second one is probing. Third one is auger boring. Fourth is wash boring. Fifth is subsurface sounding. Sixth is test piles. Seventh is deep boring. Eighth is geophysical methods. So all these methods are detailedly explained in learning material which I um, provided, so you can go through that. So every method has its own specific function, like based on that you have to use a particular method in that particular project. So next topic is the safe bearing capacity. So this you might heard somewhere, safe bearing capacity of the soil. Whenever the project is started, first they do the soil investigation work. Through that they will find out the safe bearing capacity and also other properties also. But this is the one which is most important. So it is defined as the permissible load the soil can withstand such that it neither fails in shear nor exceeds permissible settlement limits. Okay, this is the definition of that. It has to withstand in such that it neither fails in shear nor exceeds the permissible settlement limits. It should not fail in a shear, but in the same time, it should not cross the permissible settlement limits. There are some limits is provided, so much so it can go through. So it should not exceed that limit. The relationship between the structure and the soil is as old as humans because the structure is built on the soil, so depends on the capacity of the soil the any structure is done. So most important step, so the integrity of any structure is limited to the capacity of the ground it is founded on. So you might have seen in the building constructed in the rock area, building constructed in the soft soil, building constructed in the sandy soil. So there will be huge difference. The types of foundation will be a big difference. So that's how it differs. The main is safe bearing capacity as well as the water table conditions. Hence, whenever we erect a structure on a soil, it is necessary to check its capacity limits, which is estimated as a safe bearing capacity. So, in fact, it is the first test to be carried out before any construction work. So, if the ground capacity is insufficient for the structure, ground improvement techniques are adopted. So, again, this also cost the more actually for that particular project. So based on the SPC of the soil, because the planning of the structure is done before, so you need to erect the structure there. So how will you improve? There are some techniques to improve the SPC of the soil. Again, improvements through some techniques are done. Okay, ground improvement. So after that, you can erect the structure on the particular in that same place. So this is about the safe bearing capacity. So how to find out? There are some methods which is available in practice. So the method of loading, plate load test, method of dropping a weight or penetration test, analytical methods. The last one is presumptive values of bearing capacities of soils. So these are the different methods which you can use for finding out the SPC of the soil. So how to choose the particular method for site exploration? So it depends on nature of the ground, topography and cost of the exploration. So there are numerous methods are available. You will have one type of site condition and you want to construct some type of building. But the confusion is how to select the particular method. Of course, the agency, if you give the work to the agency, they will come and do and complete it. But how they fix the different types of methods. So it depends mainly on the nature of the ground. So in clay soils, borings are suitable for deep excavations and pits are for shallow exploration. So in sandy soils, boring is easy, but special equipment should be used for taking representative samples below the water table. Otherwise it will be disturbed. So in the clay soil, borings are suitable for deep exploration and pits are for shallow exploration. In sandy soil, boring is easy, but special equipment should be used for taking representative samples below the water table. Such samples can, however, be readily taken in trial pits, provided that where necessary, some form of the groundwater lowering is used. Because to get the sample, the groundwater lowering should be done. So borings are suitable in hard rocks while pits are preferred in a soft rocks. Core borings are suitable for the identification of types of rock, but they cannot supply data on joints and fissures, which can only be examined in pits and larger diameter borings. So here we saw for the different types of the soil, different types of the methods are preferred. That is based on the nature of the soil. And the next is the topography. So the topography of the site here. So in hilly country, the choice between the vertical openings, for example, borings and sand trial pits, and horizontal openings, for example, headings, may depends on the geological structure. Since steeply inclined strata are most effectively explored by headings and horizontal strata by trial pits or borings. So this is for the hilly areas. The swamps and areas overlaid by water are best explored by borings, which which may have to be put down from a floating craft. And the last one is the cost of the uh, method. So for deep exploration, borings are usual as deep shafts are costly. However, if the area is vast, geophysical methods are sounding methods may be used in a conjunction with the borings. So for shallow exploration in soil, the choice pit and borings will depends on the nature of the ground and the information required for shallow exploration in a rock. And the cost of the boring a core drill to the site will only be justified if several holes are required. Otherwise, trial pits will be more economic. So this is how the cost is depends on the type of the method.